With a week to go until Thanksgiving break, Trinity is making preparations for its holiday celebrations. Stay tuned to see how you can celebrate right here on Trinity campus.
And some of Trinity's first year and sophomore dorm rooms have flooded in the past few weeks. Find out what facility services and SGA have done to prevent similar issues in the future.
All this and more right now on Newswave. Good afternoon and welcome back to Newswave. Today is Friday, November 15th, and you are watching Newswave's penultimate broadcast of the semester. My name is Luke McCauley.
And I'm Michaela Minoza.
Our first story today concerns a series of plumbing incidents that have disrupted student life in some of the dorms on Lower Campus. Flooding bathrooms have been reported in multiple residential halls since October 22nd of this year. One of these incidents took place in Herndon, and first-year Jocelyn Flores Silva said that although facilities services was quick to her response, her and her roommates were still left to handle the mess that followed. Facility services says the incidents are a result of student flushing non-disposable materials. Associate Director Facilities Services Ernesto Gonzalez encouraged students for an email to report any minor issues quickly so they do not turn into become a major problem and issue. Trinity Student Government Association is making an effort to implement a plumbing log to keep students posted on where problems are happening and the progress being made to resolve them.
With the holidays right around the corner, the Trinity University community has all sorts of fun planned for everyone to attend. On the evening of December 6th and December 8th, be ready for a full weekend of celebrations, good music, and traditions. On that Friday, there will be an alumni party from 5:30 to 7 p.m. in the Corbell Great Hall, featuring a variety of delicious food stations, decadent desserts, and seasonal drinks. Afterwards, continue the festivities with the 30th annual Christmas concert in Laurie Auditorium, performed by a combination of Trinity choirs, symphony orchestra, symphonic wind ensemble, and handbell ensemble at 7:30 p.m. On Sunday, following the Christmas concert, come to the Parker Chapel at 6 p.m. for Vespers, an annual Christmas service to continue the candlelight tradition of carols and songs. Last but not least, the famous tradition of Christmas on Oakmont that dates back to the 1970s will take place immediately after the concert. You will have the chance to be greeted by the university president, faculty, and staff in front of their homes and roam house to house while enjoying tasty treats and festive music with your friends. The Christmas concert and Vespers will also be live streamed on the Tiger Network, but for those of you who are able to attend, we here at Newswave hope to see you there.
According to a Trinitonian survey of 214 students conducted last Tuesday, over 70% of students here at Trinity thought that Kamala Harris would win the presidential election. Trump's victory shocked expectations around the country and here on campus as well. Sophomore neuroscience major Elise Colley spoke about some of her surprise, saying, quote, "Maybe it's because we go to Trinity and Trinity is mostly liberal, so maybe I have a skewed perception of what America is now. But seeing that Trump won the popular vote, I was shocked." The survey found that only 14% of respondents wanted Trump to win the election. Sophomore engineering and physics double major Clayton Lansford of the Young Conservatives of Texas explained that their organization was more focused on the outcome of state and local elections. He said, quote, "At the end of the day, the president doesn't affect you that much, and local elections are much more important." Despite the shock, senior political science major Kate Shaw says she is still optimistic for the future. Quote, "I think we have a choice. We either allow ourselves to become more divided, or we let this be the opportunity to become unified as a group and as a community."
Still up ahead, a Democratic Party leader in Texas is stepping down. How the state party is responding to the defeat it suffered in last Tuesday's election.
And the Michelin Guide to Restaurants released its star designations for the state of Texas. Stick around to find out which fine dining establishments near you earned a prestigious Michelin star.
Newswave will be right back in 60 seconds.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. If you could see you through my eyes instead of your ego, I believe you'd be surprised to see that you've been blind. Walk a mile in my shoes, walk a mile in my shoes. Yeah, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes, walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Welcome back to Newswave. In Fort Worth, one lucky Texan won $3 million in the Mega Millions lottery. On November 8th, the numbers were 25, 28, 42, 64, 69, and 19. The Texan won the $3 million by opting for the extra dollar when purchasing the ticket. However, no one had all 6 numbers, so the jackpot prize of $361 million, or $169 million for the lump sum cash payout, is still up for grabs in the next drawing. Another 2 Texans have also claimed winning tickets for different Texas lottery games. The 2 wins amount to $6 million, with one winning $1 million and the other winning $5 million off of a scratch ticket. Another lottery that has raised its jackpot is Powerball to $92 million. If you're feeling lucky, purchase a ticket at available locations.
Gilberto Hinojosa, the Texas Democratic Party chair, announced his resignation last Friday, marking another loss for the party this election. Hinojosa, who has served as the chair since 2012, announced he would step down in March of 2025. He made a statement that, quote, "In the days and weeks to come, it is imperative that our Democratic leaders across the country reevaluate what is best for our party and embrace the next generation of leaders to take us through the next 4 years of Trump and win back seats up and down the ballot." This statement came after President-elect Donald Trump won Texas by 14 points, with some Democratic stronghold counties turning red. Hinojosa said that voters led Democrats to, quote, "devastating defeats," and he hopes that by turning his position to a younger generation, that the party will focus on areas they care about most.
After what has felt like an extra few months of summer here in San Antonio, temperatures are finally starting to drop. Here for your weekly weather update is Newswave's chief meteorologist, Luke Morton.
Good afternoon, everyone, and happy Friday. I hope you all had a great week. This week has seen some pretty nice weather, especially the past couple of days. This weekend looks to be just as nice as well, with highs near 80 and lows in the 60s under partly to mostly sunny skies. This should be a good weekend for any outdoor activities, and perhaps you might want to take your studies outside this weekend. The beginning of next week will be similar, with highs in the low 80s and lows in the upper 50s. However, on Tuesday night, it looks like we are going to get the strongest cold front so far this fall. Highs on Wednesday should be around 15 degrees cooler, with highs in the mid-60s, and nighttime temperatures will be pretty chilly with lows in the 40s. So next week is finally the time to take your jacket out of the closet that has likely been collecting dust over the past several months. There also could be some rain alongside the passage of the front, so be on the lookout for that next week. As this is the last episode before Thanksgiving break, I just wanted to take a moment to express my gratitude to the viewers of Newswave. We greatly appreciate you tuning in every week, and I hope you all enjoy the break with your family and friends. Anyways, that's going to do it for me today. Tune in after Thanksgiving for our last episode of the semester, and once again, have a wonderful Thanksgiving break.
For the first time, Texas restaurants are joining the prestigious Michelin Guide, with Michelin announcing 15 spots in Dallas, Houston, Austin, and San Antonio that received the coveted Michelin stars on Monday. Michelin, a local Mexican fine dining establishment, took home a 1-star distinction, making it the only restaurant to receive a star in San Antonio. Austin won the night as the city took home 7 Michelin stars across the same number of restaurants. And Houston took up a close second, bringing in 6 Michelin stars. inspectors anonymously reviewed restaurants across the state, assessing them for 1, 2, or 3-star ratings. About 200 restaurants in the U.S. hold a 1-star rating, only 33 hold 2 stars, and only 13 currently have 3 stars. The ratings are designed to recognize restaurants with excellent food at moderate prices, and Michelin Green stars were also awarded to restaurants prioritizing sustainability. Craig Davis, CEO of Visit Dallas, says the guide will help boost Texas's restaurant scene and attract more food-loving tourists to the state.
Bill and Betty Chilcutt, a couple who dreamed of visiting every state capital, recently crossed the final state off their list thanks to the heartfelt efforts of a local Chick-fil-A in Houston. For over 20 years, the Chilcutts traveled to every capital but were forced to cancel their final trip to Alaska when Bill was diagnosed with terminal cancer. Fortunately, the Chick-fil-A staff at the Springwoods Village location, where the Chilcutts and our beloved regulars stepped in to help. They contacted the Alaska State Capitol to arrange a unique experience for the couple. In an act of kindness, an employee at the Capitol carried the Chilcutts' wedding photo around the building, signed their names in the visitor's log, and sent back photos and mementos. In a touching presentation by their local Chick-fil-A, the Chilcutts were given a scrapbook, photos from Alaska, and a custom drawing of them in front of Janus Mendal Glacier. Chick-fil-A owner Mike Magdaleno said the couple has been a cherished part of their community for years, attending morning bingo and celebrating family milestones at the restaurant. This special gesture brought a piece of Alaska to Texas, allowing the Chilcutts to complete their journey.
Coming up, how the war in the Middle East affected voter turnout in key districts for the Democratic Party, and President-elect Donald Trump has begun assembling advisors for his next term in the White House. Newswave will be right back after this short message.
Patriotism. It inspires passionate debate, and it's worn like a badge of honor with good reason, because it means love and devotion for one's country. But what really makes up this country of ours? It's the people. To love America is to love all Americans. This year, patriotism shouldn't just be about pride of country. It should be about love. Love beyond age, sexuality, disability, race, religion, and other labels. Because love has no labels.
Arab and Muslim voters used to reliably turn out for the Democratic Party, but that seems to be changing. Muslim Democratic operatives told stories of their friends and relatives voting for Republicans or voting third party for the first time in their lives and worried that they might not return to the party. Layla Elabed, co-chair of the Uncommitted Movement, a Democratic Party group committed to supporting Palestine, said, quote, "If the Democratic Party does not move in a way that is more aligned with their base, there's going to be real long-term repercussions. This is not the first time Muslim voters have left a political party en masse. Prior to 9/11, Muslims voted reliably Republican, but in the wake of the terrorist attack and ensuing U.S. military campaigns across multiple majority Muslim counties, American Muslims felt unfairly targeted by the Republican Party, causing a mass exodus to the Democrats. Democratic President Joe Biden's support for Israel throughout Israel's bombing campaign in Gaza alienated Muslim voters. One example of this alienation is in the majority Muslim city of Dearborn, Michigan, where Biden took almost 70% of the vote in 2020. However, in 2024, Harris received just 36% of the vote this year compared to Donald Trump's 42%. Future elections will determine if the flip of the Muslim vote was a one-time aberration or a lasting realignment for the crucial Democratic bloc.
USAA, a Texas-based financial services company, is running the Go Beyond Banks campaign to help recognize and connect citizens with veterans. They're asking people to go beyond just saying thanks to veterans this year. Matt Schifrin, an Army veteran as well as USAA's Executive Director and CEO Chief of Staff, said, quote, "There are over 17 million living veterans in the United States today. And while that sounds like a lot, there are over 300 million people living in the U.S. So there's a bit of a divide sometimes between those who have served and those who haven't served. One way he suggests bridging this gap is by asking veterans, quote, where they served, what they did for the country, and how they're doing. He also said that on veterans' parts, they can ask how the person is contributing to our country. This is especially a critical issue right now with the struggle with mental health issues with veterans in America.
After Trump's election win last week, he is beginning to assemble his cabinet for his next term at the White House. Announcements have already been made for a few of his appointments, including Matt Gaetz as the Attorney General, Marco Rubio as Secretary of State, Pete Hegseth as the Defense Secretary, among many others. Stephen Miller was also chosen as the Deputy Chief of Staff for Policy. During Trump's first administration, Miller served as his senior advisor, lead speechwriter, and top immigration advisor. Miller has been advocating for a stricter immigration policy and is a central figure in Trump's plans for mass deportations of undocumented immigrants. According to Miller, these will begin, quote, on Inauguration Day, as soon as he takes the oath of office. Miller also told the New York Times that this term, Trump's immigration plans are being formed in a way that circumvents having to create new substantial legislation, since most of his executive order immigration policies were challenged in court last time. Miller also mentions plans regarding, quote, open land in Texas near the border, in which he said the military is going to build detention centers for immigrants who had been arrested and are about to be deported. At the time last year, Miller said, quote, any activists who doubt President Trump's resolve in the slightest are making a drastic error. Trump will unleash the vast arsenal of federal powers to implement the most spectacular migration crackdown.
Still coming up, Newswave sports editor Caleb Reed has updates on all of the postseason action taking place right here at Trinity, and we'll fill you in on headlines from across the globe. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back in 60 seconds.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to sports. Last weekend was a huge one for Trinity, so let's make sure to go ahead and jump right on into it. First off, Trinity football won a thrilling senior day showdown against the Southwestern University Pirates. Trinity dominated the game against their conference opponent, closing out a 34-7 victory at home to end the season. The impressive performance also saw the Tigers sweep the SAA Player of the Week awards, with quarterback Ryan Back earning the offensive award, linebacker Cade Rabson earning the defensive award, and kicker Tyler Huddle earning the special teams award. Trinity is on the road this weekend against Millsaps College in Jackson, Mississippi, and there is a slim chance things may not be done for the Tigers yet. With a win this weekend, as well as a loss by the Center Colonels to Sewanee, Trinity would win the SAA Conference Championship outright for the fourth straight year. However, if that doesn't happen, there is a slim, although improbable, chance that the team would receive an at-large bid and potentially host a round of the playoffs. The most likely opponent in this hypothetical playoff game would be Texas Lutheran University, the school that Trinity lost to open the season 20-35, but that is not confirmed yet. Make sure to stay up to date on the Trinity Athletics website for potential details after this weekend. Meanwhile, Trinity Volleyball will play their conference tournament this week, starting with action earlier today against Schreiner University in the quarterfinals. The Tigers swept last weekend with 3 straight wins, earning a 3-1 victory against Dallas before then sweeping McMurray and Centenary. Now, finally moving over to soccer, we do have some playoff action here at Trinity this weekend following 2 thrilling finishes to the SCAC Conference Championship games. The men won the conference championship 4-2 against St. Thomas, but it was the women's game that really stole the show. Tied at 0 with just a few minutes left in double overtime, Trinity's Michaela Bosco hit a perfect shot right into the net, securing Trinity's 5th consecutive conference title. The women will now be on the road in California for the first round of their playoffs, but Trinity will host the men's games here at Paul McGinley Field. The first match of the weekend starts at 5 tonight, whenever Trinity will face Belhaven, and then at 7:30 we will see Bowdoin taking on Hardin-Simmons. The winners of these matches will then move on to the deciding match, which will be tomorrow at 7 p.m. That is all for me. Have a great weekend and make sure to take care, everyone.
On Monday, global climate talks began in Baku, Azerbaijan, which brought together world leaders, scientists, activists, and executives to discuss worldwide plans to help global warming. However, world leaders are raising questions about the recent election of Donald Trump, who historically has contributed to greenhouse gas pollution, and how that will affect their strides to reduce global warming. Last year's conference brought an agreement to limit fossil fuel use in hopes to reduce pollution, which Trump has promised through his campaign to boost the U.S. fossil fuel production. Additionally, Trump has plans to pull out of the Paris Climate Agreement, which requires every country to pledge how much pollution they plan to cut every few years. Aladdin Meyer, senior associate at E3G, stated, quote, "With Trump's victory, I think people will be looking to see other countries and other leaders pick up the slack, particularly the European Union and China." After last year's pledge to triple renewable energy sources by 2030, many are worried that they will be able to reach their goal. The climate conference will be continuing until November 22nd.
Earlier this week, Russia began a counteroffensive to reclaim territory lost to Ukraine in the Kursk region of Russia. According to U.S. officials, the Russian military gathered a force of 50,000 soldiers to reclaim the region. This same assessment concluded that Russia was able to mass this force without pulling any soldiers out of eastern Ukraine, allowing Moscow to press multiple fronts simultaneously. This was made possible by the formal entry of North Korean troops into the war zone. North Korea has sent more than 10,000 troops to fight with Russia in Kursk, making a major escalation in this conflict that has raged on for more than 2 years. Ukrainian intelligence officials have predicted that North Korea's reinforcement of Russian troops will likely not be a one-time endeavor. These officials have predicted that North Korea could send as many as 100,000 troops. This development has generated concern among many U.S. military and intelligence officials, as President Joe Biden, a devout supporter of the Ukrainian war effort, is leaving office in exchange for the former President Donald Trump, who has been relatively quiet on the subject.
Kaohsiung City of China, home to a rich sense of Chinese history, suddenly found a new tradition. Thousands of people have been cycling on their bikes on winding streets lit by street lamps and the glow of their smartphones. Last Friday, over 100,000 people participated in the rides. This trend started back in June when a handful of female students took to the streets and cycled over 30 miles from Henyan's province capital, Xingzhou, to Kaohsiung, one of China's ancient capitals, on a quest to taste famous nourishing soup dumplings. What followed were thousands of people just days after joining them on the arterial highway between the two cities. While chaos ensued with clogging on the highway and a mayhem of traffic, the trend has allowed all types of people, both young and old, local and visitors, to escape from the daily grind and enjoy a peaceful night ride in their community. One Chinese citizen who participated had this to say, quote, "I've been feeling a bit down and anxious lately, and when I saw a night cycling event, it looked so spirited and free," end quote. In what has been dubbed the Night Riding Army, this new tradition will hopefully continue to bring joy for years to come.
Sadly, that is all the time we have for today.
Safe travels to everyone driving or flying home next week for Thanksgiving break.
And be sure to tune in on Friday, December 6th for Newswave's final broadcast of the semester. Until then, I'm Michaela Minoza.
And I'm Luke McCauley. Thanks for watching.